So where we left off was the gang walking down this hallway to enter the tombs of the Star Corridor, but all they're met with is this white void. But before they could leave, they see Tengen call out everyone by their lineage. Yuki kinda salty cause she was like, what about me, Tengen? But it ain't their first time meeting. Yuki gets straight to the point, asking Tengen why they closed the corridor to them, and they simply responded saying that she thought they was around with the ops being Kenjaku, and she can't tell what people got going on in their hearts. By the way, Kenjaku was once Noritoshi Kamo and the thing that currently possesses Geto's body. Yuji decides to pull a Rei and Rakai to Iron Mouse, asking Tengen why they look like that, and they happily reply saying how they're immortal but not ageless, and this is the result of being 500. God damn! I mean, 500? What? Tengen, you don't look a day over 499. Tengen explains how since they failed to assimilate with the Star Plasma Vessel or Rico 12 years ago, their aging accelerated hella and their identity as an individual vanished, and now they're just one with the world. Megumi and Yuta try to join in on the conversation as well, saying how their purpose for dropping by was to learn if Tengen had any idea about Kenjaku's goal and how to open the prison realm to free Gojo, and Tengen was like, bet, but on one condition, being between Yuta, Yuki, and Choso. 2 out of the 3 of them have to stay with Tengen and guard them. The gang asks some questions about why, but Tengen felt it would be easier to show them for real. And y'all JJK fans, make sure to buckle your seatbelts because there is absolutely no action and all yap. And I know y'all don't like to read, but let me just help y'all out real quick. Tengen proceeds to explain that Kenjaku's final objective is to force the evolution of mankind throughout all of Japan. Megumi asks how he intends to do so and why Kenjaku didn't just use Tengen's barriers and turned everyone in Japan into sorcerers using Mahito's ideal transfiguration in the final episode of season 2. Tengen says that Kenjaku just didn't have the curse energy to pull it off, to say it short, and the curse energy refined through Uzumaki can't be returned to the sorcerer. There is also the option of evolving everyone with a curse technique one by one, but obviously that's far too inefficient and tedious, and so Kenjaku chose the route to assimilate mankind with Tengen. Yuji and Megumi were like, hold up, cause they thought their assimilation should only be possible with the Star Plasma Vessel, and that was true, but since the incident with Rico getting blicked down and they started to evolve 12 years ago, assimilation with one who is not the Star Plasma Vessel is totally possible now. Choso chimes in asking since they're just one person, how would assimilating with multiple people work? And Tengen says that this thumb looking ass thing they're speaking to at the moment ain't their real form, and their soul is everywhere now that they're evolved, and the people who assimilated with them now would become more than just the sorcerer. They'd become a new being that's both there and not there at the same time. Tengen's able to retain their shape and reason after evolution thanks to the barrier techniques, but if mankind were to evolve and even just one of them went crazy and out of line, then the whole world would come to an end, since there would be no boundaries between individuals and evil would just spread to everyone just like that. The impurities of over 100 million people would flood the world, and what happened in Tokyo would be recreated on a much bigger scale worldwide. Yuji asked why Kenjaku would do such a thing, but Tengen would love to know the answer to that too. The nigga could be doing it for pure shits and giggles, and I wouldn't even be surprised, to be honest. Maki then asks that wouldn't everyone be straight if Kenjaku just rejected the assimilation, but that's the thing. Since Tengen evolved, their nature is closer to that of a cursed spirit rather than a human, so they could be hit with Geto's technique, cursed spirit manipulation. And since it's Kenjaku, Tengen would get snatched up faster than a black girl's weave in a fight on contact. That's why Tengen wants 2 guards with them. When it comes to skills and barriers, Kenjaku is second to Tengen after all. Yuki says that Tengen was stopped from assimilating with the vessel and was forced to evolve, and now Kenjaku seeks to absorb them via cursed spirit manipulation. Kenjaku also seems to have some sort of ties with Sukuna, so that would make the nigga like 1,000+ years old on some isekai shit, so why is all of this happening now? To which Tengen states that themselves, along with the Star Plasma Vessel and the Six Eyes, are connected by fate. In the past, Kenjaku was stopped by a sorcerer who possessed the Six Eyes twice, and that second time, the nigga was mad thorough. He killed both the Star Plasma Vessel and the bearer of the Six Eyes within the same month of their birth. He was taking no chances whatsoever. This really goes to show how much this nigga's been planning, been in the lab, just working. But despite that, the Six Eyes and the Star Plasma Vessel still appeared by the day of Tengen's assimilation. But because of that, Kenjaku changed his tactics to focus on sealing the user of the Six Eyes, since there can't be two niggas with the Six Eyes at the same time. And so his search for the prison realm begun. However, 12 years ago, something unpredictable occurred. The man who left it all behind, Toji Zenin, showed up on some fate breaker shit, and as we know, he was physically gifted through a heavenly pact. And since that placed him outside of fate, he was able to destroy the fate connecting the three of them. And to make it all the much better for Kenjaku, Geto had one of the best abilities he could ever ask for, being cursed spirit manipulation. 6 years after that, the prison realm made its way to Kenjaku's hands as well. So basically what I'm hearing is that the 21st century was really Kenjaku's year, to keep it a buck. Megumi asked why the Culling Games is being hosted if that was the case, and Tengen says it's a warm-up before the assimilation. As we just found out, assimilation between Tengen and people other than the Star Plasma Vessel are currently possible, but there's a high probability that it'll be incomplete. That's where the Culling Games comes into play, by using the cursed energy of the players and the boundaries formed between colonies. In order to establish the ritual though, Kenjaku should have been forced to accept several pacts, with one of them being that he himself cannot be the game master of the Culling Games, but it doesn't really matter since killing Kenjaku won't end the games. It's either all the players die getting killed, or all the players refuse to participate and die as a result. They kinda go over the rules and which ones they'll be able to use as leverage. The 6th rule mentions that if you have 100 additional points, then you'll be able to negotiate with the game master in order to add an additional rule to the game. So the gang will need to participate in the game and add a rule that creates a way out of the game for players like Megumi's sister and those who just don't want to participate. Megumi says that they gotta free Gojo from the prison realm at the same time too, since he could resolve everything on his own. Before any more questions are asked though, Tengen asked who will be the two to stay, with Choso and Yuki simultaneously selecting themselves. Choso's reasoning is that Yuji will most definitely need the help of either Yuta or Yuki, and since he's got beef with Kenjaku, then it's all the more reason for him to stay and let the fade come to him, for the sake of his younger brothers of course. And Yuki's reasoning is that she's just not done talking with Tengen, and Yuta's fine with this, being that he's been in Africa for too long, eating that jollof and fufu and snacking on that agege bread like he was Orihime, so he wants to be with everyone now. Tengen appreciates it and pulls out the back end of the prison realm, saying this is the way to free Gojo. Before Kenjaku found the prison realm 6 years ago, it was outside of Tengen's barrier, so they assumed that it was probably somewhere abroad. By keeping the back end, they tried to conceal the presence of the front, but it ain't work. They still can't open it though, since the authority still rests with the owner of the front, being Kenjaku at the moment. So in order to open it, they'll either need the inverted spear of heaven that can force the cancellation of cursed techniques, or the black rope that can cancel out the effects of cursed techniques. But Gojo happened to destroy both of them. And look at Yuta in the back, man. Yuta, I'm watching your stream right now. Why you trying not to laugh, bruh? That's disrespectful as shit, bruh. But I don't blame Gojo, to keep it a buck. Both of those shits were the only things in the verse that was touching through that infinity. I'd wipe that shit off the face of the earth too. Yuta mentions that him and Miguel were searching in Africa for more of that black rope, but shit was all gone. And I just know grandma over here served them some good ass fufu right then and there. But there is another way. Among the Culling Game participants, there's a sorcerer from 1,000 years ago who goes by the name of Angel, and she's looking tough. I'm glad to see that the anime did her justice. Her curse technique can extinguish other curse techniques though, so she's pretty much their last hope in Unsealing Gojo. Tengen says that she's in the colony on the east side of Tokyo, but since the Culling Game barriers reject them, they don't have more info other than that. Tengen pulls up the map and says that there are 10 colonies across Japan, linked by barriers designed to ferry the people of Japan to the other side. Similarly to the shit with the Yasuhachi Bridge, if y'all remember that. Although it may sound dramatic, but everyone in Japan was cursed in preparation for the assimilation. Megumi asked how long the ritual will take to complete, and Tengen says that it depends on the culling game, but an estimate would be within 2 months. The first rule of the game states that after awakening their technique, players must go to a colony of their choice within the 19 days and pledge their participation in the games. Maki says that it's 9 AM on November 9th, and Yuta says that the players awaken as sorcerers around midnight on October 31st, which means they got 10 days and 15 hours to end the game before Megumi's sister is forced to take part. They go over more rules, like the second one being players who breach the first rule will get their technique jacked. And we see Shoko for the first time this season, and god damn, shawty, is it really that bad? Going through all them cigs and all those bottles on standby, it's a miracle that she still looks as beautiful as ever, but god damn. She also deducts that getting your technique jacked would also kill you through your brain through some neurological shit. I'm not too sure myself, but hey, we'll get through it together, I promise. Maki's lucky though, since she got no curse technique, so she's really like the exception right now. The third rule states that a non-player becomes a player by entering a colony. Yuji asked what that meant for those who were in the colony from the start, but Tengen says that they're granted 1 chance to leave, which is pretty generous, so maybe it ain't so bad. Besides, in order to keep players inside, the premise that players entered with their free will is very important. The way players earn points are by ending the lives of other players. Killing a sorcerer is worth 5 points, and a non-sorcerer is worth 1. Megumi asked who the game master is, and they say that every player is given a shikigami called Kogane, but that's just an interface, and it's best to think that the system itself is the game master. The 7th rule states that the game master gotta approve any additional rules under the 6th one, and Choso and Maki questions if that's even fair, but Tengen assures them that they should expect a fair decision to be made, cause since they already got harsh rules to begin with, the game won't favor the likes of Kenjaku. And finally, the 8th and last rule is that players who don't join or points don't change also get their technique jacked and they die, which still has Yuji on the fence since he has to murk people, but Megumi reassures him that he has a few ideas to work around it. After all that, they go over the game plan with Yuki and Choso on guard duty for Tengen. Maki will receive cursed tools from the Zenin house, cause since Gojo got sealed, the other 2 clans took their shit out of Jujutsu High's forbidden vault, so it's empty. But Megumi's now the clan head, so they can go through the vault. And hold on, Maki, the camera angle's kinda making you look mad good right now. You looking mad pressure. Yuta will enter a colony and participate right off the bat and gather as much info as possible before Megumi and his sister are forced to join. Maki tells Megumi and Yuji to go see Kinji Hikari and try to recruit him by any means since they're short-handed. Yuji asks if bro was strong, but Yuta says that once he gets into it, he's even stronger than himself, but Maki quickly told bro to stop the cap. But now the gang is on the move. Yuji got manners though, and thanked Choso for all he's done for him. And it got bro crying. I love this sweet and wholesome moment. This is what we live for. We cut to this guy on stage, and let's just say niggas were not fucking with his performance. His name is Takaba, and he's a 35-year-old comedian, but clearly niggas don't find him funny. This guy tells him that their industry is full of late bloomers who suddenly make it big for no reason, but none of them gotten funnier. They were already funny to begin with, waiting to be discovered. Basically telling bro that he ain't cut out for this shit, and to just rev up the fryers like his name was Nagi Seishiro. This guy on the side though tells him that he never disliked his comedy, but they both have the wrong idea. There are 2 types of comedians who manage to stay big. Comedians who are always funny, and comedians who can delude themselves into believing that they're funny. Asking Takaba which one he thinks he is, which he's conflicted at first, but truly believes that it's a 70-30 split, with 70 being always funny, as we see that he's a player of the culling games that we'll see more of in the future. We see Maki walking towards the Zenin house, and the first person she decides to greet is the womanizer, the fraud, Naoya Zenin, and he's just dissing her face, saying it was all she had going for her. Maki was clapping back too. She said that she thought he only looked at asses. The mere idea of the slight possibility of him and Toto bonding over having the same type of woman actually scares me till this day. Naoya tries to get under her skin, but she just walks off to where the weapons are at. Maki's mom tries to stop her with all that hooting and hollering, but she's waving the keys around like niggas waving their hall pass to let the hall monitor know that they good. We get this little cut of her telling Megumi the news and that he's the new clan head. He wasn't trying to have all that responsibility on that Shikamaru type timing. I still don't see why this nigga decided to reject the position at first chance, even though they'd greatly benefit from it, especially with the culling games happening. But Maki tells him to lock the fuck in. He tries to give it to Maki instead, but that won't do anything since no one will respect her. At the end of the day, Megumi got the 10 shadows technique, got like half a domain, and even Gojo was giving him the potential man status from the jump. Megumi asked why care about what the clan thinks, but Maki opens up saying how she ain't good enough to create a place where Mai can belong. While Maki is walking off, her mom is just being a loud ass ooh, I won't say that word, but you know what you are, ma'am. She complains that Maki is ungrateful and, you know, regular ass parent stuff, I can't lie. I swear all of our parents were whipping that shit out on us like crazy, but Maki's on a mission right now. We see Naoya and Jinichi speaking and basically planning to backdoor Megumi and Maki. Since Megumi is cool with Gojo and Noritoshi, him being the clan head would be beneficial to strengthen ties between clans, so they can't just slam him out that easily. But they can label them as rebels that are planning to free Gojo and execute them for it, cause literally that's what they're doing. Jinichi seems like a cool and chill nigga, but he wants to plot with a nigga who was just dissing him 3 episodes ago like, bro, you're riding this shit too hard right now. But that would leave OG to kill his own daughters. But turns out, it was the nigga's idea. This clan is just pure evil and hatred, like the Uchiha were never this bad. She unlocks the door just to see her pops, and he said that he cleared out all the weapons since he knew that she was coming for him, as the camera pans to Mai on the ground already. As the door closes, Maki unsheaths Dragon Bone, walking towards her pops. They clash, and Maki actually broke his sword, but he still managed to cut her down since he just infused cursed energy to essentially replace the broken part of the blade. As OG's dragging their bodies through the hallway, he says that the reason Naobito became the clan head instead of him was because they were too sorry, and that was the only thing lacking between him and his brother. Throwing their bodies down this staircase into this room. This room is used for training and punishment purposes only. He keeps a bunch of cursed spirits from grade 2 and below, and they're currently in hiding because of his presence, but once he leaves, they'll be racing to eat them up. But he had to get out some Maki slander and said her heavenly restriction ain't shit before leaving. Mai crawls towards Maki and she can still feel her pulse as she gets in close to give her that breath of life. We see Maki wake up on this shore and she sits up to see Mai right next to her. She explains her curse technique and says that it ain't none special for real and her body is heavily wounded by her pops, so once she makes this, she'll die. Walking towards the ocean, telling Maki to do her best. Maki tells her to come back, but Mai tells her why twins are considered a bad omen for Jujutsu sorcerers, since they're treated as one person in terms of Jujutsu. So as much as she tries to get stronger, it won't matter since Mai doesn't want the same, and vice versa. So as long as she exists, she'll still be half-baked, lukewarm. Itoshi brothers, you guys get the point. Maki says that she gets it, but she doesn't want Mai to go through with this, but she just leaves Maki with just one thing, and she'll take Maki's cursed energy and everything with her, asking Maki to make one promise with her, being to destroy everything. As we cut to Maki holding a new blade in hand and Mai sadly passed. OG takes a stop because he felt chills down his spine. A fear that he's tried so hard to forget about emanating from that room as he sees Toji and Maki, and I can already see the one-to-one geeks complaining, running their mouths, but I like the idea and concept that they were going for. As OG hits this slash down this hallway, we see his head top slide smooth off with Maki walking past bro as if nothing happened, as this is just the start of their dream. The clan is ringing the alarm bells as Ranta tells Junichi that Maki killed OG and that the Kukuru unit is handling it. Might as well call him the Cuckoo unit, cause who in the fuck do these niggas think they is thinking that they can kill Maki? Especially with that shit they got on calling it drip. It's crazy to see the clan ain't even got a look of sadness in their eyes too. Bro really said even OG could get ambushed in his bed or on the toilet. Like, how do I tell you, gang? He even told him not to kill her and that he'll do it himself to take all the credit. I'm dead. Especially with this fuck ass cut and sideburns. Please tell me what you'll possibly do. The Cuckoo unit are just guys who have no cursed energy like Maki, and they just got straight hands and swordplay, and Maki was actually a part of the unit before coming to Jujutsu High. As the unit surrounds her in this club looking room, straight out of Kill Bill, she gets straight into the slaughter. They charged in, and she turned these four into minced meat like she was Levi Ackerman, started walking their asses down, caught 3 more bodies, sliced his eyes, gave him the Shanks treatment just to rob this guy of both of his arms. And let me slow this down for y'all, because this actually got me on my first watch. She smacked his arms that were holding the blade into this guy's neck. Peep, this guy was looking at her funny, throat gone, head split, and kicked this nigga back. This guy must have thought he was Donatello or something, the way that he basically just called next just to get speed blitz. Felt these niggas staring at her ass, took off their heads. She was not playing. She was just catching straight bodies left and right. Guy over here got his blade broke and sliced him open as his sword flew into this guy's dome. And peep how they took the color away, cause all Maki was seeing was straight red. She kicked this nigga and he coughed up all the blood in his guts. Took the top off these two no gunna, murked this guy, and bro thought he was slick, but Maki was like, bitch, why your head look like a thumb? And got split down the middle. And look at the aura farming right here. It is truly magnificent. Homeboy sent 2 kunais, but she sent that shit back with no fee. Split this guy and chucked her blade at this homeboy's dome, and I kid you not, this shit started flying and had everyone in the blender, while she was just no diffing these guys without the slightest bit of expression on that face. Jumped to the next floor to make sure that they knew they was not safe in the slightest, and this sequence was truly beautiful to witness. Flip back down to zoom around and cut everyone down. Went for this nigga and hit the weave, and literally took that man's ankles. Started sliding like she was Garo from One Punch Man to 1-inch punch the shit out of this nigga. Was walking these niggas down, took arms, chest pieces, and was just going ham before finally dropping every nigga in that room. This nigga walked in on this bloody crime scene, and this guy sent up 2 hands on that earth style timing to crush Maki. We see that the Hey unit pulled up, and their group is made up of the Zenin strongest pretty much. Maki wasn't done though, clashed with this nigga just for his blade to break in 3 hits and stole that nigga's voice box, and did the same to Gramps over here. No one was being shown mercy today. Ranta hits her with his technique, keeping her still, and this demon was smiling and proceeded to break through his technique. As Jinichi hit her with his punching technique through the rubble and smoke, Maki was the victor and just tossed bro's head into the lake, as now Naoya and Maki are face to face. We get this little Naoya backstory moment, and this little nigga had the biggest smile on his face when he went to go see Toji, as he heard that he had no cursed energy, but instead of a miserable face, he witnessed true aura for the first time. These two are just throwing straight hands with each other while Maki's counting, but now you caught her lacking and gut checked her like crazy, telling her that she ain't Toji, and was just spamming them jabs, saying that he's the only one that stands among the Gojos and the Tojis, throwing her into mountains as she's just counting, as she's just getting thrown around, getting hit from literally every single angle. She still stands her ground, holding her hands out as she claps, and as Naoya's hitting them quick time events perfectly, charging at Maki at his top speed, she catches him, telling him that now her body allows her to see through his technique, giving him that Luffy special, crushing this guy's whole skull. And I was watching this like, damn, she hit the nigga so hard to replay 3 different times. Maki tries to look around for her moms, and eventually she finds her and asks why she told her to come back, but moms was being funny, so she had to cut that hoe down. We then see Naoya walking around in the house somehow like we literally didn't see his shit get rocked in 4K quality, but thankfully, Maki's mom decided to be useful and stabbed Naoya in the back, as now she's grateful to have given birth to her. Man, get the fuck out of my screen, man. We see Momo running to see Maki carrying Mai on her shoulder, and just connected the dots from there, as we see that Maki caught 36 bodies that day, walking off like nothing ever happened.
I never went inside, nigga, don't play with me. 5-figure drop when I step with the stove. Your bitch had to pink out, she a 5-star hoe. My chain like the same 24K gold. Cocaine, baby, she put water in her nose. Give her a good dick, then she hop on the stove. Took her to eat, she want lobster and pasta. It's me for dessert when we go back home.